We couldn't let this one go. This will be an original, spontaneous original. I wanted to get out of here, but I just saw this from the Blaze. College Chancellor requiring students to take algebra as a civil rights issue. The community college chancellor in California, surprise, surprise, is proposing to get rid of requirement that all students take intermediate algebra in an effort to boost the graduation rate at his institution. Eloy Ortiz Oakley, Chancellor of California Community Colleges System, made the suggestion during the recent interview with National Public Radio, calling the requirement a civil rights issue. Specifically, Oakley said he wants to get rid of the requirement for any community college student who isn't a STEM major or focusing their studies in the areas of science, technology, engineering, and math. What we are proposing is to take an honest look at what our requirements are and why we even have them, Oakley said, adding that the college system he leads is going to look into other math pathways. Because reality is hard. Facts. Based on research at other colleges across it. Why even go to college? Just why go to college? But I have the old captain. The old captain. Don't worry, I agree with the good chancellor. But let's just continue on. Oakley said there are other math pathways should be actually relevant to the coursework that the student is pursuing. He took one step further, suggesting that dropping the requirement will not only benefit students academically, but also portrayed it as a civil rights issue. This is also something that plagues all Americans, particularly low-income Americans, Oakley said. If you think about it, all the underemployed or unemployed Americans of this country who cannot connect to a job in this economy, which is unforgiving of those students who don't have a credential, the biggest barrier for them is this algebra requirement. It's what has kept them from achieving a credential. No, it's a laziness and a lack of work ethic and shitty parents in a shitty K-12 system. And let's just not forget the laziness of the students themselves. You know, I'm going to try to explain a little bit of reality. The real world needs engineers and programmers and surgeons. We don't need any more evergreen community activists or social justice warriors. Currently, the graduation rate at California community colleges is just 48%, according to NPR. This includes the number of students who either graduate with an associate's degree or those who transfer to a four-year college. How do you have less than half the people graduating from community college? Since the 1950s, we decided that the only measure of a student's ability or reason or to do some sort of quantitative measurement is algebra. What we're saying is we want as rigorous a course as possible to determine a student's ability to succeed, but should be relevant to their course of study. But what if your study is completely bullshit? All right. Like I said, I'm here to agree with the good chancellor. I have a solution. You're right. We should get rid of all the math and STEM requirements of liberal arts and non-STEM majors. I absolutely agree. It is not pertinent or germane to their study. They're not going to use calculus. They're not going to use programming. They're not going to use math. They're not going to use reason. They're not going to use empiricism, logic, evidence, or anything like that. Let's just get rid of all the math requirements for non-STEM majors, as long as you get rid of all the bullshit liberal arts humanities prerequisites for STEM majors. I'm totally deadly serious, 100%. You're right. What does Afrocentric guilt studies have to do with becoming an electrical engineer? What does women's studies or English comp have to do with becoming a mechanical engineer? I absolutely agree. I cannot agree with the chancellor more. We should get rid of unnecessary classes for all students. If we really cared about the students and we wanted them to succeed, which the chancellor, I think he does, we should get rid of all the classes that are not required to become what that person is studying. So electrical engineering majors, mechanical engineering majors, it's all STEM, sciences, and math. No humanities, no sociology, none of that fucking bullshit. And all your worthless liberal arts, lazy humanity degrees, you guys can go study whatever the fuck it is you want, and you don't need to force them to take math classes or English comp or program or science or anything like that. I cannot agree more with the chancellor. There needs to be less classes all around for all these kids to graduate. And if we just got rid of all these bullshit prerequisite classes that have nothing to do with people's declared majors, these kids could be getting 4-year degrees in 2 years. And if we really cared about our students, that's what we'd allow. But something tells me the good chancellor doesn't want that. Something tells me him and all the administrative and professorial staff, they want these kids to take as many classes unnecessarily as possible. Because the truth is, Chancellor, you know that the only way worthless liberal arts majors, look, you for example, with your doctorate and whatever worthless studies you got, you guys would not have jobs. So be careful, Chancellor. Be very careful saying you don't want kids to take classes that have nothing to do with their degrees. Because by God, that's the best thing that could happen to colleges and universities. We'll see you kids later. Toodles.